Welcome to Small Steps. My name is Seth Potts, and I want to show you some of the basic counting functions in Excel. Sometimes we get requests in that don't necessarily fall in line with a standard routine of crime analysis. The one that comes to mind most often for me is when I get something in, and regardless of what the request is, I've got to clean up the data. Sometimes it's, in this example I'm going to show here, is kind of sometimes there's missing data. As we all know, with record management systems, maybe sometimes there's a lot of fields that don't get filled out properly because there's just so many things for officers to fill out that sometimes they get missed. What I've found handy in the past is some of these basic counting functions. These three that I have listed here are some pretty basic ones. There's really no arguments in the function itself. It's literally just the range that you're wanting to look at. Going over this real quick, I just have a couple columns worth of data, just a date, case number, an offense, and a theft type. So in our system, we have our offenses are typically pretty broad with stuff like thefts. It encompasses a lot of different theft types like shoplifting. Like I said, there's a lot of listed as all other, then auto burglaries. So a lot of times what happens, well, they're getting a little bit better at it, but sometimes they're just left blank. It's not a required field in our record management system, and sometimes, when they're filling everything out, sometimes it gets skipped. Now, when I get this information in, if it's not caught on the way up to the records department there, it's something I can help out with or look at the data and see that some certain things hadn't been filled out. So just going through a couple of these. The count. Now I haven't used this one a whole lot. The count function, it just counts the number of cells that contain a number. So we'll look at this. We see there's 30 rows, but it's got a header in here. So look as an example, this B column, just a simple count of how many we have here. So you just do the equals, the count. Like I say, it's as simple as just either highlighting, like clicking and dragging down over the cells that you want, or you can just reference a whole column here. So I'll just do the entire B column and close the parentheses. Pretty simple. See, it comes to 29. So out of the 30 rows, it recognized that only 29 of them were numbers, so it took that out there. Now, what I've come across that I've used more is counting count A and count blank. So count A counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So it doesn't care if there are numbers or text or anything. It'll just count everything. And then kind of to go with that is the count blank, counts the number of cells in a range that are empty. It's kind of interchangeable depending on how you want to look at this. But for this example, if I had a lot of data here, let's just say I had a year's worth of these, and let's try to figure out how many times we missed filling out a field, or recognize them so I can go in and fix it in our system if we haven't already taken care of it and sent it where it needs to go. So we'll go with this theft type here, and we're going to do this count A, kind of the number of cells in the range that are not empty. So equals count A, open parentheses, and the value is just going to be, now for this, since I am counting text and everything, I'll leave the title row up here out, and I will just go with D2, and then down to, see, D30 is where I'm going to. So highlights that range there. Same as before, there's no other arguments, just what we're wanting to look at to count. And see, there are 22 cells in what I highlighted that are not empty. Now, if I want to look at this other way and just see, how many times there are blanks in the data, same kind of thing, equals count blank, and then once again just the range. So you can just, I'll do the same range, and if I'm looking for these blanks, it doesn't matter if I get that title row or not. You just click and drag down, or like I say, you could do the whole column. Whatever range you're looking for, it could be over multiple columns as well. So let's do this, count how many blanks there are in there. I know there are 29 actual rows of data, and there are 7 blanks. So you see those add up correct there. 7 blank, 22 that are filled out, and we already knew there's 29 total. So like I say, different times this might come up that it could be handy to find in a large group of data how many blanks there are, how many field or cells that are filled out with anything, or sometimes maybe even just numbers. But these three basic counting functions can make that kind of work pretty simple. If you found this tutorial helpful and would like to see more, click like and subscribe. The next video coming up will be over the COUNTIF and COUNTIFs functions.